Here's another number that'll show you how poor it's been. Offenses without 300-plus total yards in a single game during weeks 1 through 5 over the past 5 seasons. This year's Browns. As you see, end of list. So over the last 5 years, to start a season, to where we are in the season, there hasn't been an offense this inept.
Well, that's the word, right? Like, if you were to say what is the identity of this team, I would say ineptitude. And we're talking about, just look at it as a whole pie chart. You've had 59 possessions on the season. 19 of those, that is 1/3, 3 and out. That will kill a defense as quick as anything. You've had another, how many possessions is it now? You've had 6 possessions end on downs, which to me is a turnover. Doesn't register as one, but that's another thing. It's going to kill your defense. You've had another 19% of your plays end in a punt that wasn't 3 and out. Those are acceptable to me because you can play the field position game. Because if I'm looking all over the field for pluses, especially I'm looking at Borquez. Borquez has been a weapon for you. If you can play the field position game, fine. But you've also got 6 turnovers. You've only scored 7 touchdowns and 7 field goals through 5 games. This is ineptitude that we've never seen, and we've sat through some stuff in the last 25 years, and we have yet to see an offense this inept. And then just aside from that, this is the most expensive offense in the NFL. Like, this is failure at a level we haven't seen in Cleveland.
All right, so hold that thought about the offense being inept, because I'll put that even into a scarier context here in a minute. This is the rate of drives to reach the red zone or score a touchdown before reaching the red zone. Commanders, who the Browns kind of helped move that up a little bit, 58.7%. 49ers and Lions, second and third. Eagles are tied for fourth with the Saints at 47.5. Browns are the worst. The Browns are 15.3 behind the Dolphins, who, keep in mind, they haven't had Tua for a couple of weeks. So, and there are a number of teams that are playing backup quarterbacks that are ahead of the Browns. Heck, the Panthers, who benched Bryce Young, are ahead of the Browns. And it starts on first down, because you're getting penalties and you're not gaining enough yardage and you're not running the football.
Yeah, well, you said it. The last thing you just said. You're throwing the ball more than anyone on first down, and your passing game is inept. What does that leave you? That leaves you at best at 2nd and 10. When you're not completing at a high rate, you can't go out there and spread out the field and play in shotgun. That's all well and good when you're converting and sustaining drives. But when you're not, converting on first down and you're playing from behind the sticks, this isn't an offense that's going to be built to do that. To me, it's, and it comes down to basic stuff, and I know that this all offseason, it was about changing the offense, and we kept talking about how different it's going to look. Well, it looks completely different. And by different, I mean atrocious, and if you got to go back to going heavy personnel and
Yeah.
shrinking everything down and just keeping it north and south, running gap scheme, wide zone, whatever you got to do, you got to get this thing to its. You're looking at 3rd and 8s. You're averaging 8 yards on 3rd down.
Yeah.
That's a death sentence for this offense. So that's where it comes down to. And if you can't sustain drives, you can't get to the red zone, you're going to remain at the bottom of that list.
Yeah, without question. And when I think of this, how long do you stick with it? How long do you have to eat dog crap before you decide you don't like the taste of it? That's kind of where I'm at with the offense.
You have to ask Jimmy Haslam that question.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to.
I think that's a legitimate question based on what we're seeing at this point in time. All right, I told you to keep in mind how much the Browns offense has struggled. If you rank the defenses the Browns offense has faced this season by EPA per play, Cleveland has faced defenses that are ranked 27th, 31st, 18th, 21st, and 28th. Again, historically bad start against some of the worst defenses in the NFL. Yeah. It's not like they're getting beat by good defenses. They can't do it against the bottom dweller defenses.
No. And outside of Cincinnati, was a surprise struggle on defense, I'll say that. Yeah, I don't see a weak defense coming up. Philadelphia, they're strong in areas that you're weak. Baltimore is going to bring it. The Chargers are going to bring it. Like the sledding gets tremendously tougher. and you weren't able to. But it was a work in progress. I fully expected that. I expected it to be slow on offense to come together before it could go, but I did never in my wildest dreams did I think it would be this putrid. If you couldn't do it against those defenses, and the only thing that I can put in my head is they are just assuming that if we throw enough reps at it, eventually it clicks. But at one point, are we talking about the definition of insanity? And this is only 5 games. We have 12 games left to go. I just don't know how long they can look at this product, and how long they can go into their locker room to the other players and say, "This is what we're going to do again this week," before you really just fracture everything.
Yeah, I am. Again, I know they play a lot of AFC teams coming up, but I don't have any confidence they can string together 3 really good series, much less 3 good games against quality NFL teams.